There's a bunch of new stuff to check out today in regards to the Quarry, so let's get started with the Dreams quiz. The first relevant image is a split screen of Abigail running, presumably after the kissing log attack scene, and Dylan falling in super slow motion. I'm fairly sure it's Dylan because that looks like a white t-shirt, and he's the only character wearing one of those. Also falling is someone holding what could be a cricket bat? Or maybe a weirdly shaped long hatchet for chopping limbs? The image is so blurry that I can't make out who it is, but it seems large enough that it could be Bobby. I'm basing that entirely on the fact that I don't really see a sleeve line anywhere from the wrist all the way to the shoulder, and Bobby is the character we know about with bare arms. But obviously that's just a guess. At the right in the image is what seems to be a rock in the moonlight, so I'm guessing they're falling off of an outcropping into the quarry itself, which means they might hit water and this won't be a fatal fall. Now we've got a sink with a pill bottle, a bandage roll, and a set of fabric scissors. So this is referencing a scene where someone gets a wound treated? Maybe Dylan after he gets his hand removed? Here's Nick waking up and looking around a room. Is this what happens if Bobby successfully abducts him? Everyone's worried that he's been murdered, but it turns out he's being treated suspiciously well? Or have the counselors brought him back to the lodge to rest after his ordeal, only they don't know that he's been infected by a monster, and now he's about to become the problem? Either one seems like a solid possibility. Next is a night sky and a morning sky with flares being shot off. Is this the dawn has arrived moment of them signaling for help from the cops? Finally, we've got Max sitting splay-legged against a low wall or staircase. This is the second time we've seen him post-prologue, although this time he's wearing a black t-shirt and jeans, rather than the overalls or pink hoodie we've also seen him in. Also, this scene has deeply sinister vibes for me, making me wonder if Max is going to be a main threat in the game. The origin of those vibes? Max is clearly posed in a way meant to reference Jason from the NES Friday the 13th game. Is that a stretch? Maybe, but I'm absolutely convinced that's what they were going for. Also, the "your life has been a dream, do you try to do it differently?" is a nice reference to how people play interactive movies like this one. Next up, we have Chris's Slice of Life video, which has a couple of minor details in it. First is a reference to holding on to the characters' phones, which is also in his official bio. Then we've got this compass badge, which might mean that he's qualified to teach orienteering, or perhaps it's a nod to the Dark Pictures? Honestly, probably both. Finally, we get a look at his mug. Although it doesn't have anything written on it, it's worth noting that this looks a lot like the mug that was placed next to the planchette you could see through the window in the prologue, so I'm guessing that it was Chris using a Ouija board. Next up, we've got costumes. I was hesitant about the value of the 80s costumes if I was being asked to pay for them without seeing them first, but now that I've seen them, I'm super pleased with the result. Abigail's punk costume looks great, although those pants look a little warm for the summer. I'm a big fan of the fake Guns N' Roses t-shirt. Great work by the artists recreating the look of Appetite for Destruction without just copying it. Caitlin and Dylan have matching preppy getups. I wouldn't have predicted that vibe for her, but on Dylan it seems like a good fit. Although I'm a little confused about why there's an O on his jacket. Although leather jackets have never particularly made much sense to me. Let's move on to Ryan, who's very much the bad kid, misunderstood loner in his black outfit and vest. I know that video games shouldn't be promoting smoking among youth, but wow, this guy needs to be puffing on a cigarette in that getup. Emma looks great in her Madonna cosplay, complete with mesh top, endless bracelets, and multiple belts. Then we've got Jacob walking around in cut-off jersey and tiny shorts. It's actually a little hard to see that they're shorts in his close-up, but in the background of Emma's picture, it's perfectly obvious. All of these outfits are pretty great. I wish I could use them in my first playthrough. Now it's time for another disclaimer about spoilers. Apparently people have received their copies of The Quarry already, and have posted images from the game as proof. I won't be looking at these images or discussing anything about the game that isn't public knowledge. If I were to get a review copy, I wouldn't talk about anything that happens in the game before it's out, and the same rules apply for other people's spoilers. I love searching out info as much as the next person, but I'm only basing these videos on publicly available information. Speaking of, apparently that fake monster spoiler was a model of a werewolf from a Harry Potter game. Finally, I put up a video showing 3 ways that the demo could end, but neglected to show the path description for what happens if Laura doesn't make a decision when Max is injured and both of them get mauled. So I went back and checked that, and I'm sad to report that there's no exclusive text for that outcome. Either Laura helps Max or she doesn't. Not doing anything counts as not helping him.
I've been the Hidden Object Guru. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, consider checking out our Patreon. You can join heroic patrons like Marissa, Joanne, Eduardo, Brian, and Archer in helping keep the lights on around here. If you'd like to see more, there's nightly streams and plenty of videos to check out. We'll see you back here for the next thing, but until then, au revoir.